Grabbing this by the exhaust, probably. I know nothing. I'm just a dumb engineer. So here is my first Tillitson with a top plate. So the way to solve this problem is originally this solenoid was attached to these two mounting brackets at the very bottom, and it stuck out probably 4 inches, and it would not fit at all. So it would not fit inside the frame because of that. Let's see if we can get a better view. So here are the two mounting holes, right here and right here, and that's sticking out. It would just not fit. I tried everything. I even went up to 1 inches, and I could not get it to fit. So what I did is I ordered a top plate. First time testing on a top plate. I've never done it, and I just drilled 2 small holes in my top plate, and you should be able to see them in a second. So 2 small holes here and here, and that is actually at an angle. And I also put this engine switch on here just for now, just to get out of the way. I'm going to mount that to the frame, but I need longer wires. But I just drilled 2 small holes. I tried to tap them. Actually tapping them made it more difficult because this aluminum is so thin. Tapping the aluminum really wasn't worth it. So I just used the 2 supplied small 8mm bolts, and I just bolted that to the top. And my only constraint was this wire. The distance between the length of that wire was a constraint. I wanted to put it in the very top, but that wire wasn't long enough, so I had to bolt it to the part of the top plate that's at an angle. That's bolted down now, and that is how it'll fit. It's my first time also running a pulse pump. I have transparent fuel line coming. It's on back order. I email them and it says on back order, but I copied their video on YouTube exactly how to run fuel filter to a pulse pump and use it on a Hemi engine. I don't know where this goes. I'm thinking Redbeard said to use a fuel catch can for that outlet. But the Hemi pulse pump, we'll see how it works. It's my first time trying it. And then this has the upgraded Tillitson carb, and they are not joking. This thing does come 10 horsepower out of the box. It is, Tillitsons are, I'm probably never going to buy a Predator again. Tillitsons are simply the best. They actually, I believe, have a better alloy too that they make our crankcases out of. So I'm going to install this, and you'll see how it fits with barely, probably 1/8 of an inch, or maybe even a 1/16 of an inch clearance by removing that solenoid and putting it on the top. Alright, it's on the frame, and I can't remember if this has 1/2 inch risers. I think it does. I tried 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, or 1 inch. I tried raising it. Raising it only makes the problem worse, so there you go. I got my first bolt, my second bolt in, and there is literally, that's probably a 1/16 inch or an 1/8 inch gap. It's probably definitely an 1/8 inch. So you're working with a very small little gap just between this electric motor and this obviously won't fit at all. So I'm gonna have to mount this unit somewhere, but there it is, it fits. And I had to do just some minor fabrication to drill those 2 bolt holes but it's not hard, and the electric start is so worth it. I get so sick of pull starting these things, and the electric start also powers, also generates your battery, so you don't have to charge your 12-volt battery. All I gotta do is go get oil, ride my bike down to the automotive store, get some oil, I'm gonna fill this up with some oil, and then yeah, I should be good to go. Just gotta run these electrical wires to my system and zip tie them up, put a muffler on there. I don't want this to be too loud, but this engine should give this thing some awesome power, especially in the high-end range, because this MB200 a lot heavier than a Coleman, so I'm hoping to get definitely 15 horsepower out of it, maybe more. We'll see how many horsepower I get out in just a stage one. But there was one issue. This performance cam that I use to the order. The performance cam, the actual diameter of this is like slightly too big, the tolerance to fit inside of the Tillitson, so I can't use this performance cam, which I really wanted to use in there. And I only buy from Go Power Sports, never from Amazon or eBay, because Go Power Sports is the best. So anything you get, anything you do with these mini bikes, definitely go through Go Power Sports, even if it's cheaper on Amazon. Because if you're ordering off Amazon, all it is someone who is drop shipping it from AliExpress from China. So you're gonna have crappy customer service, and that is really what you want to avoid. Customer service is the best. So if you see these on eBay or Amazon and it's $10 cheaper, for example, for a torque converter, a 30 series or a Comet knockoff, and you go on Go Power Sports and it's $10, $20 more expensive. Now that $10, $20, it'll pay for itself if because the customer service, you're ordering from a drop shipper who doesn't even know what the thing is. He just sees that there's a trend on Amazon for that product, so he puts it on and he orders it directly as a drop ship. So they're not actually in a warehouse anywhere. They're just produced in China, and it's 2 or 3 weeks shipping. So you're getting a part from China from someone who has no idea what the part actually does. Now, when you buy it from Go Power Sports, they have years and years of experience, and you call them up and they can actually guide you through installation. They can guide you through a lot of different things that I didn't even know. When I bought this, it was CNC'd or milled, or they used a water cutter or laser cutter, and I couldn't even see these gaps right here. It was so, the cut was so tight, or I don't know how to describe it. The cut was so well. I think they did use a laser cutter or a water jet cutter, and I was like, I called them. I was like, hey, there's no separation here, and then they were like, yeah, you just look really, really close. I looked super close. I found it, pulled them apart. So thanks, Go Power Sports, and thank you for all the great customer service. So again, that is how you mount the 212 electric start. I'll probably make another video once I get all the wiring done, and I may get rid of these 2 small ones, these 2 small LEDs, and then just put a giant light strip on there. But at night, they're so bright. I love them. But all this is actually just going to go through this one little 12-volt back here. So, all right, that's it. Again, this is Jordan's kitchen. When I do get a house with a garage, I'm going to get every tool possible. And however, when you do have tools and welder, you have drill press, you have things like that, it actually can slow you down, and it can stunt your growth of your company. The reason is, especially in manufacturing, engineering, from my past experience, I haven't been an engineer in 8 years. Didn't use my degree. I'm an entrepreneur, and I do different things. But when you are able to weld, put gussets in, things like that, at a very fast rate, it stunts your growth, because you are modifying, like, for example, if I took my MB200 and I just chopped the frame in half and added 2 inches of length of the frame, to do this, I would have not solved the problem with just drilling 2 holes in the top. So having less is more in manufacturing. When the Maybach comes out, when I get the parts from China, I get 10 assembled. I'm gonna send them to every YouTuber. Again, I'm gonna say, break it. I want you to break this thing, because it's gonna have failure points. Each failure point, I'll know, I'll record, and I'll figure out how to decrease the chance of failure, and the least amount of modification, the better. That's how it works. If it can fail, it will. And that analogy and that saying, always in business, has held true. If it can fail, it will. So redundancy is important. Factor of safety, I like to design everything in a factor of safety of 3. I'm not going to do finite element analysis because I don't think I need to do FEA on this. I'm just going to maybe get a 3D printer or go borrow a 3D printer, because there's only 2 custom parts I need from China for a plant. I got to probably fly over there, go to the plant, and go over there with them already 3D printed, instead of actually sending them a solid model using SolidWorks or whatever. So yeah, MB65, whatever I'm calling it, change name all the time, is gonna be awesome when I get that out the door in the next couple of weeks and get over to China and get 10, my first 10 made. Send those out to every YouTuber who will accept one, and the only terms are you have to beat the shit out of it, and you have to break it, because I want to know. I want to know where you break it, how you break it. I want to know how many pounds you weigh, because that is going to give me the ability to find where it's going to break. And at the end of the day, the success depends. Your success on manufacturing something, a product, my software, anything, any business I've started, is designing it so it's unbreakable. And the simpler you keep it, the less variables there are to break. So if for example, on the first version, if I put headlights on a bracket and 2 brackets more to mount the headlight, that's 3 more wells, 3 more holes, 3 more components that ends up being 20 different things that can fail. So when you're modifying something that already works and making it better, the idea is less is more. And this lesson has always held true. The less I do, the more money I make. Box 2, May's almost 5. There you go, buddy. What's up, man? These are Vishlas, bird hunting dogs.